How do you even know about that?
I know everything, Eddie.
You do?
Everything about you.
How?
I am inside your head. You are a loser, Eddie.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. We've got a full-on, I don't know, a Twitter beef, social media dispute over the origins or who had the most creative hand in Venom, one of the more popular characters of Marvel Comics right now. It's got a big movie, the sequel, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, that's out in theaters right now. And we got David Michelinie and Erik Larsen going at it on social media before. I believe David Michelinie ended up blocking him. And here to talk with you about this is Marvel aficionado himself, Doc. How you doing?
I'm wonderful, sir. David did not actually block him. He just stopped responding. He didn't even want to give Erik the satisfaction of getting a block. But yeah, oh God.
All right, Doc, I got to get this out there. You are a Todd McFarlane super fan.
I am.
You might be biased in the direction of Todd McFarlane when it comes to the creation and the fleshing out of the character Venom.
I don't know if I'm ever really that much when it came. Now I'll give the guy credit for design. Not necessarily. I rarely weigh into these who created what between writer and artist. I will say that Todd absolutely did the design. He created the design of Venom, but whether he created the character,
the design of the black suit was already from Secret Wars.
No, yeah, but the design of the character of Venom versus just the black suit.
Okay, I got you. Now we got this dispute. It's going from David Michelinie. It's not even at Todd McFarlane. I guess because the movie is out right now, there are some debates on who deserves more credit for the creation of the character. David Michelinie went on to Facebook. And he even typed in a sigh, like, eh. And then he's got this big thing going on as far as who created it. And basically the big question he puts out there is question number one: if Todd McFarlane had never been born, would Venom still exist? He says the answer is yes, because someone else would have drawn him. Question number two is, if David Michelinie, talking about himself in the third person, had never been born, would Venom still exist? And he says the answer is no, Doc. Is it that simple?
I'm going to go with,
were you in pain?
Probably, no, I was yawning.
Oh.
Watching creators fight over this kind of shit kind of bores me it bores me, but it entertains me at the same time. I don't know how that's possible, but it's boring entertainment for me. But I'm leaning towards, David's making a very valid point here. Would the character of Venom exist? Probably not, because David did pick the name of the character.
And he said he's been dropping hints about what this suit really is since 1986, a full 2 years before Todd McFarlane ever came on board Spider-Man.
Yeah, like he mentions that we're dropping hints that the character was going to be coming all the way in 1986, which is
where he loses his Spidey sense in Web of Spider-Man 18.
Yep. So this was before David Michelinie had even moved to ASM. He was still just the writer on Web of Spider-Man. But it was so well received that he eventually got moved over to ASM, to the main book. And Todd didn't come on until even after that. So yeah, I think the concept of Venom was, hatched or born long before Todd was ever even involved in the Spider Office, and most of which was done by David Michelinie. He's making a very good argument on his behalf here. Now, because the character's in shadows, it literally could have been any character. It might have not even been the black suit. At the time, because I don't think he knew where he was going with that yet. And so he was introducing a character with a set of, I guess, like a power set or, he was kind of very slowly fleshing out a lot of the details of what would eventually become Venom. So yeah, like, birthwise, originating point here is, it's definitely David Michelinie. He
now,
even
Erik
got
Larsen,
into,
who had a big part to play in the creation of, or the expansion of Venom and what the character is. Obviously, he took over Amazing Spider-Man after Todd McFarlane himself. He goes on, he's obviously disagreeing. He's the dissenting voice here. And he said, well, if you were to say whoever put pen to paper and created the character, it should be Mike Zeck and Rick Leonardi, because they're the ones that created the black suit. But he says, without Todd McFarlane adding the stringy, gooey transformation process, the claws that Venom has, and the appearance becoming progressively more monstrous, you don't have the Venom character. And he says, as his retort is, would Venom exist without Todd? Not the one we know of. And would Venom exist without David? Not the one we know
of. And yeah, you're right. I mean, Erik is right in that regard. I mean, like, both of these guys are right. They're just both kind of dickheads about it.
Well, this is big stuff.
It is, because
getting credit for the creation of a character is potentially very lucrative, especially if you have movies coming out. You got cartoons based on the characters. You want to get the full credit. That way you get the points.
Yeah, exactly. And now I don't know whether or not there's a different, royalty scale. It
feels like Venom is probably somewhat locked into Spider-Man because the suit was introduced on Amazing Spider-Man as a new Spider-Man suit.
Oh, absolutely. My
like a derivative.
My point is, I don't know who gets royalties. If there's a difference in royalty scale, if you're creator versus co-creator, and it's being split two ways, or if they're just paying the two people the same amount of money as they would if it was just a solo creation. I don't know. I mean, maybe that matters, or maybe this is just a dumb fucking nerd fight between two old men that are still kind of legends. I don't know.
I'm partial to going against Erik Larsen because he's kind of a dickhead.
Yeah, I
am
don't
normally get that feeling about David Michelinie.
But his argument here of if you wanted to, if we're going all the way back, then credit has to be designed Mike Zeck and Rick Leonardi. No, it has to be that kid that they paid $200 for the black costume design, that had emailed it over, or that had mailed it to Jim Shooter, and that they only paid $200 for,
wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So no, that kid's the creator of Venom. If you want to go that way, Erik.
But Marvel paid for it, so they probably have full rights to it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but that other guy is still the creator, because he literally created it. So no, I mean, if you want to go that route, then go find whoever that kid was. I can't remember his name right now, and put him as the creator. Or you could put Jim Shooter as the creator, because he's the one that bought the design. So one way or the other, all of these people, this is like this weird. This is where it comes from with creator, kind of royalties or credit, is all of these things are a collaborative effort. So they recognize that it's a collaborative effort from the minute they get in there. They're constantly talking about how comics are a community and it's such a collaboration. Yet every time they want paid, they're demanding that they be called the creator. You guys are so pathetic. Which one is it? Take your pick, but you can't have it both ways. I mean, but he does ask a good question here. Would Venom exist without Todd? Not the one we know of. Would Venom exist without David? Not the one we know of. It is a good question, but I don't think that, and I think he is right. And that is disappointing, because I don't like Erik Larsen being right.
He's kind of right. I don't know. It's weird. Michelinie makes a compelling case that he was sowing the seeds of that what Venom was to become, that this was going to be a villain, that Spider-Man didn't realize what he was wearing at the time. And he started a full 2 years prior.
Yeah. I mean,
you need an artist to execute the vision and really make this horrifying, monstrous creation come to life. Absolutely. Is Todd McFarlane one of the greatest comic book artists of his time? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, look, if any time you take out a creative person from a creative process and then put somebody else in their place, the end product is going to be marginally different. You see it with, when Wolverine got moved over from Incredible Hulk over to giant-sized X-Men, they took the whiskers off his costume because a different person was drawing it. Every time somebody else gets involved, they add their own flavor to the mix. So it depends on what you want to consider Venom. If you consider Venom what is right now, then absolutely nobody created him. Because it would be about 65 people that all get co-creative rights, because it's a constant evolution of character. Erik gets just as much credit then as Todd does and that David does, because Erik added the spiky teeth and the prehensile tongue. David added all of the, the power set with him being invisible to Spider-Man's spider sense and the motivation. Todd came in and muscled up and made into a monster what had previously been a pretty slick suit. Then down the line, you get whoever the hell did Lethal Protector that added in the saving the innocents and San Francisco thing. Like all of these things, they all build on one another. And once you start taking blocks out, you end up with a different product. So no, is Erik technically right? No, it wouldn't be the same one we know of. But you know what? If one of these guys, if any of these guys weren't there, we wouldn't have, none of these guys are responsible for the Venom we have right now. So
yeah, getting a creator to a character, especially in modern comics, like in the last 40, 50 years, to really pop and become something, that can carry its own title and really be popular. It's great timing, great writing and great art. They all have to be there for a character to really take off, and it certainly was there with David Michelinie, Todd McFarlane, Erik Larsen backing it up. I guess David Michelinie's motivations and the characterization that he put on Eddie Brock becoming Venom are getting somewhat mocked, I guess, because they aren't really incorporated into the film. But in that case, Michelinie also has a really good retort. He says, yeah, of course they ditched it. There's no Spider-Man in that universe. Like, they're intrinsically tied. Spider-Man's in the MCU right now, and Venom's kind of doing its own thing. Yeah. They couldn't really go with the original Venom story like they did in Spider-Man 3 with where the two movie franchises are now.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't do it because Peter Parker's a 15-year-old in the movies right now. A 15-year-old can't just out an existing reporter. Like, if he would get mocked out of the room by the editors. It doesn't matter how much proof he had. And he doesn't work. This isn't the same Peter Parker. So they had to modify. They had to adapt.
They haven't gone to Battle World yet.
Yeah, they never did Secret Wars in the fucking movies either.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, they didn't.
There's going to be a miniseries.
Yeah,
on Disney Plus, I believe, but they haven't got there yet.
Yeah, exactly. And they never went to. They didn't do it in that case. Then the Venom from Spider-Man 3 wasn't the same because he came on a rock, a moon rock. So.
Well, yeah, but you still had the bell tower and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
No, I get that.
They tried to do as much as they could to incorporate the story, like you saw in the comic, into the movie with the.
And I think they did that in both cases. They tried it in Spider-Man 3. Now it wasn't as effective.
That was such a bad movie.
It was. And they cast Topher Grace. You're Eddie Brock. You are not. And they tried it with the Venom solo movie. They did it within the limitations of what they had, what they could work with. I mean, we're about to get a Morbius movie.
Vengeance story. It's a buddy story. It's two people, it's Lethal Weapon, but except you have an alien symbiote.
Yeah, and it is still a bit of a vengeance story because, he's trying to get his, in a little way, he's trying to get his ex-girlfriend back, and he's trying to, he's getting revenge against the guy that ruined his career. It's still the same vengeance story. It's just aimed at a different person. Because that whatever his name dude was from the first movie that owned that, that laboratory and that
guy,
fake Elon Musk. He ruined Eddie Brock's career and got him discredited. So the only difference between this is it wasn't Peter Parker. It was just a different guy that did the same thing to him, and he didn't end up in prison afterwards. So, okay.
I am on team David Michelenie on this one. I think it's finally his creation. It's clear that he was sowing the seeds for something, whatever was to become Venom, prior to Todd becoming on there. But you wouldn't probably have the amount of acclaim and the amount of excitement around the character, and the character probably wouldn't become what it has become without Todd McFarlane being a part of the creative process in the visuals that he put on top of it. They're definitely they're more than the cherry on top. They're absolutely part of the fabric of who the character is, above and beyond just the character motivations, the backstory, and where the suit came from, and how it affects Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, as long as David was sowing seeds for something that was leading towards a second nemesis beyond a goblin. He was really sowing those seeds for a number of years. Now, it could have ended up with if it would have been somebody else that was on art duties, it could have been a design that was nothing like the original Venom that we got. It could have been, looking like somebody like fucking Puma. And I mean, everybody always forgets that Puma exists.
Man, I like Panther and all those guys from Thundercats. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, these aren't Thundercat. He's not a Thundercat.
Feels like a Thundercat knockoff.
He feels like he probably should have just been used in Thundercats rather than as a Spider-Man villain. Because as a Spider-Man villain, he's forgotten.
But as far as this dick measuring contest that went on between David Michelenie and Erik Larsen, I think David Michelenie probably got the best of him, although Erik Larsen certainly makes some very good points, and I absolutely have to give him that.
Yeah, I mean, if his point is it wouldn't be exactly identical, then yes, I guess you're right. If it would have been somebody else, but without David, it would have been somebody else too. But
you notice who's not in this argument, right?
Todd
McFarlane.
Todd is the one. Yeah, he's like, I don't fucking care, guys. I'm over here doing my Spawn thing. Oh, and by the way, I stole my own design. And then just added some chains and a cape.
Yeah. So that just tells you who Todd is and who Erik is. And I don't blame David Michelenie. Yeah, apparently he's been getting a lot of feedback and all these claims. It's obvious that he was kind of fed up and wanted to set the record straight as far as he saw it. I think he did a good job.
I think he did too. And I will never discount his contribution to the creation of Venom.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Take care, sir.